Where do the animals, birds, insects, where do they live? That's what we were doing. All of us have a home. Now let's look at letter P. Under letter P, let's see the animals that we all know and let's find out where do they live. Now, P. Letter P. Under letter P, we have animals. Can you name? Yes, parrot, panda, peacock. Now, parrot is a bird. Okay? Parrot. Parrot is a bird. Peacock is a bird. And panda is an animal. Panda, it lives on trees. Normally we find panda in Australia. Now, parrot, sometimes we keep parrots at home. They can be trained for talking. So parrot is a talking bird. Whatever you say, it will repeat. So sometimes when you repeat, your friends, your teachers say, Ma, here comes a parrot. That means you say exactly how it was taught to you or delivered. So a parrot, where do the parrot live? We catch these parrots, we make them live in the cages. That is very sad. But normally, the parrots live on the tree. They make holes, they sit there. No, and always we find parrots in big numbers. Suddenly you'll find a big green patch of birds flying in, and those are the parrots. They are beautiful green colored body with a nice red beak and claws. They're the most prettiest birds that you can ever think of. So parrot, where do they live? A parrot lives. A parrot lives. Where do they live? Parrot lives in a tree. In a tree. Okay. The title is Where do they live? Where do they live? I told you all animals, birds and insects, everybody have a home like you and me. So parrot lives in the tree and they always move in large numbers. Suddenly you'll find one green patch coming to by your house. Now they have lovely beak. Now peacock. Peacock lives in the forest and peacock is another colorful bird and it is a national bird. Lovely, beautiful peacock. Okay, a peacock. A peacock lives in the forest. In the forest. You also see white peacocks they are very rare, but mostly this purplish bluish peacock is more adorable to look at. Now we have panda. Panda lives in the forest. Again, it lives in a tree. A panda. A panda lives in a tree, on a treetop. We find panda in Australia. They're lovely little animals to look at. P. Next we have R. Letter R. Letter R. And what are the animals that you know of? Let's hear. Letter R. Yes, rat, good. Rabbit, good. Then rat, rabbit, very good. Rhino, rat, rabbit, reindeer, and whatnot. Now, R. Under R, let's pick few animals and let's find out where they live. Rabbit, good. Rabbit, where does he live? A rabbit. He lives in a hole, in a burrow. A lovely little animal. You love him. Rhino. Rhino is a big, huge, ugly little animal, and he loves to live in the forest, but he always looks for a water spot because he likes to lie in the water and cool himself. Next is reindeer. Reindeer. A reindeer also lives in the forest, and the reindeer has big antlers. He looks very beautiful. So now let's look at rabbit. A rabbit. Where do they live? Where does he live, a rabbit? A rabbit lives in a hole. He lives in a hole. And we call that hole a burrow. He makes his own burrow and he lives there and he feels cool among the wet sand. A rhino. A rhino lives in the forest. A rhino lives in the forest. He lives in the forest and he looks for water spot to cool himself. A reindeer, he also lives in the forest. A reindeer, when you think of reindeer, you think of what month? December. Who pulls the sleigh for Santa? It's a reindeer. They are lovely looking animals with the huge antlers, and they are lovely. They're supposed to be very helpful. That's why Santa used them to pull the sleigh with all toys for you. So a reindeer lives in the forest. In the forest. Then you know rat. Rat lives in your house. Wherever there is a hole, you will find a little rat, little mouse hiding. Okay, the next letter is S. When you think of S, snake, very good. Squirrel that scampers about, good. A starfish. What about your spider in your house? Every corner of your house, there is a little spider smiling at you, making lovely web house for himself. So the next letter is S. Okay, next letter is S. S for snake. S for snake. And where does the snake live? A snake lives in a hole. He lives in the mud wherever there are large holes. He will go and occupy that. So when you say S, we think of snake. And where does he live? A snake. But snakes live on land and in water. You will find water snakes and you find land snakes. A snake lives on land, in a hole, and in water. On land and in water. So there are water snakes and land snakes. Small green ones, you won't even know they are snakes. They will look almost like the water. Another one, squirrel. Where does the squirrel live? It scampers about on a tree. Squirrel. A squirrel lives a squirrel lives he lives in a tree. In a tree. He loves to eat nuts. He loves to run up and down the tree. Another one, spider. He's your best friend in your house. Spider. Actually, you must say, thank you, spider, for coming to my house. How? What does he do for you? A spider makes big webs. The flies, the mosquitoes, the insects that trouble you get caught in his web, and you're free of that harmful insect, especially the mosquito. Now, so a spider makes his own web and he lives in a web. A spider, and he lives in your home. A spider lives. You can say, spider lives in our house, in our home with us. There are spiders who live in our home. There are spiders who live on the tree, outside, anywhere. And he makes his own house called web. So, let us look at all the animals. Where do they live? Where do they live, these animals? Parrots and peacock and panda. A parrot lives in a tree. Most colorful green bird. A peacock, peacock lives in the forest. A panda lives in a tree. Now, a rabbit. Rabbit lives in a hole that he makes and we call it a burrow. Then a rhino lives in the forest. It's a huge animal and he has got one horn on his forehead. And he's so huge, he lives in the forest and looks for water area to cool off. A reindeer. A reindeer lives in the forest. And he has to be very careful when moving about because his antlers should not get caught in the trees when he's escaping from the dangerous animals like the tiger, lion. They come to catch the poor little reindeer. Snake. S for snake. A snake. You find snakes living anywhere. In the tree hole, in the mud, in the water, anywhere a snake lives. So a snake lives on land and in water. There are water snakes, land snakes. Now squirrel. You often see squirrels scampering up the tree and down the tree and round the tree. A squirrel lives in a tree. He loves to run up and down. Spider, he lives with us in our home, outside home, in the forest, on the tree, everywhere. A spider lives in our home with us, helping us to get rid of mosquitoes, flies, and harmful insects that get caught in its web. Where do they live? The next letter is T. All the letters we do not have animals. Some letters don't have. So T. What animals do you think letter T has? Good. Turkey. Then tiger. Tortoise. Good. So we are going to do letter T. Letter T. Under letter T we have tiger, Good. Turkey and tortoise. So tiger. We have tiger, turkey, and tortoise. Where do they live? Tiger. The tiger lives in the jungle, in the forest. The tiger lives in the forest. Most beautiful animal is the tiger. Yes? Next, the turkey. Turkey is a bird, a lovely little fan he's got at the back and is really gorgeous. And at the throat he's got nice big red things hanging, a comb on his head. You make a turkey angry, that's all. He'll come and peck you. So turkeys, especially the male ones, they are very beautiful to look at. A turkey. A turkey lives in the forest, lives in the all sorts of birds live there, turkeys and peacocks and all sorts. And they got to be very cautious to be away from tigers and lions. Next animal we have there is tortoise, a slow little animal with a very hard shell. A tortoise. A tortoise lives in the forest, but a turtle, he lives in the water. Yes. Tortoise lives in the forest, but a turtle lives in the sea, in the water. Turtle. A turtle lives in the water. Lives in the sea or wherever there is water. So in the water. Okay. Next we have a single animal, bird, vulture. Wherever there are high rocks, he'll find a little place to build its own nest because he doesn't want any of us to destroy its eggs. It's the vulture. Next is V. V for vulture. Vulture is a bird. Normally vultures, they feed on dead animals. It's got sharp claws, sharp eyes. So vultures, they live on the high rocks. A vulture, a vulture, a vulture lives on the high rocks. High rocks. He doesn't want anyone to destroy his little nest and eggs. Then we have W. W, that is wolf. Okay, next is W. You have W, and what the animal? Tell me an animal. Wolf. Where does the wolf live? In the forest. Wolf. What else? We have walrus. Walrus that lives in the sea. Okay. A wolf. Wolf belongs to the dog family. Look almost like a dog. A wolf lives in the forest. In the forest. And a walrus. A walrus lives in the sea. A walrus lives in the sea. Okay. The next animal we have here is Y. Letter Y, yak. He too lives in the forest. So we have yak. A yak lives in the forest. Finally, we have the last letter Z. Okay, Z we have zebra. A zebra, striped, beautiful, black stripes on him make him look like a real zebra crossing. A gorgeous animal. A zebra lives, it belongs to the horse family, lives in the forest. So we have almost A to Z, whole lot of animals we have found, and we are learning where do they live. Their homes. We're talking about their homes. So different animals have different homes. Some build, some live in holes. Where do they live? T. Tiger, turkey, tortoise, turtle. A tiger, most beautiful animal, lives in the forest. Turkey, it's a beautiful bird. At the back, you have nice big feathers. Big circle he has at the back. A turkey lives in the forest. Tortoise, a slow little animal with a hard shell. A tortoise lives in the forest too. Similar, turtle and tortoise are similar. Turtle, a turtle lives in the water. In the sea, you find sea turtle, river turtle, depends, and some are big and some are tiny. Vulture, a vulture lives on the high rocks, very high where no one can find its eggs. W, wolf lives in the forest, almost look like the dog. Walrus, a walrus lives in the sea. Y, yak, a yak lives in the forest. And finally, zebra, a zebra also lives in the forest. Now we know A to Z, almost we did all the letters. Some letters don't have an animal. So, and each animal live in a different home.